Hello and welcome to a very special Resident Evil podcast where we are making a gracious return to the world of audio commentaries. Yes, we know people have been waiting for this for a long time, but we have finally made it to Resident Evil Damnation, arguably one of the best CGI productions that Capcom have made, certainly one of the most memorable. And joining us for the audio commentary, we have STARS TyranT.
Hello.
And we are very honoured to be joined by an actual actor from Resident Evil Damnation, Val Tasso.
Hello, everybody.
Val Tasso, for everyone who is unaware, voiced and mocapped JD, one of the cool characters from Damnation. So we're going to take the opportunity to interview / talk about some of his scenes and just get a general feel. So for the first time ever, Damnation is probably going to get a proper audio commentary with someone who worked on the film, which is so exciting. So I'm really happy and delighted you could join us, Val.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much for the invite.
No worries. No, I'm really pleased. So, as a reminder to everyone who wants to join along, this is an audio commentary of Damnation. Obviously, for legal reasons, we don't have the video for it. But what you'll need to do is load up Resident Evil Damnation. I'm watching it on PAL Blu-ray. Sean, are you doing the same?
I am, but the PAL NTSC thing isn't really a factor with Blu-ray, so it's fine.
It's fine. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
There we go. Because Val, you're watching it just on DVD NTSC, so they maybe we'll have to see. Previous audio commentaries, for anyone who knows, that can be a slight change. Perhaps with the DVD to the Blu-ray, I don't know. I'm not sure we've had that issue, but we'll come around to it. So as always, if you want to join along with us, you need to load up your copy of Damnation. And at the moment, we are all paused about 2 seconds in. So once you hit play and the Capcom logo is about to kind of creep in, I think that's probably the best way of describing it. So you've got clips of games and whatnot, and so Capcom is about to gracious with the screens, and that's where we need to play. So that's where you need to load up now, and we'll get ready. But before we do, I thought Val will just quickly, obviously, apart from welcoming you to our little podcast, did you want to take this opportunity just to give us a bit of a rundown of your, of your acting career and how you ended up working on Biohazard Damnation?
Well, it was an absolute honor, and I do mean an honor, to work on this film and be part of a franchise like Biohazard, aka Resident Evil Damnation. Honestly, got to say, out of the 21-year career I've had in Hollywood, this is by far the greatest project I've ever worked on, and I hold it dear to my heart. This is the greatest character I've ever played. I've had the best time in the world playing the character, and like I said, to be part of a franchise like Resident Evil is just absolutely amazing. And I hold it dear to my heart, and that's why I was so blessed to get this invitation, because I will do anything for the fans. Especially for Damnation fans, I owe it to you. And I am so honored for the invite, and thank you very much for bringing me on board to be part of this commentary, because like I said, if it wasn't for the fans, there wouldn't be a Resident Evil Damnation existing even 10 years later, because the film is 10 years old now. The fact that it's still relevant and it's still out there and fans still adore it, and I still get a lot of fan mail through Instagram, and people really, really love this franchise. They love the film Biohazard Damnation, and I'm just very blessed. I don't know how much time you want me to spend on talking about this. I mean, because I can talk forever. I can talk about the casting process and how I got to it, and we can do all that kind of stuff. Or if you want to get straight to the film,
well, I think it will naturally flow as we as we kind of go through it. So there'll be moments we can just talk away. Absolutely. Okay, everyone. So if everyone is ready, we're paused at about 2 seconds in. We're at the Capcom logo. Get ready. So if everyone gets ready and presses play, and after three, we'll do 3, 2, 1, then go, and then we'll load up. So 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah. It's digital. I've got Digital Frontiers loaded up for me, so that's where I'm at.
It's literally just there.
Fantastic. There we go. Yes, the introduction, communism, the fall of the Iron Curtain.
Yeah, I think we are actually on the exact same page.
Excellent. Good.
Thinking up pretty good.
And look, a map. I need to study that map. Look.
Mm.
So this is an Eastern Slav Republic, kind of made-up country.
Correct. Yeah, as you can tell, there was no exact name of a country.
Mm.
It was just maybe you guys can figure it out kind of deal. It's an Eastern Slavic country, and we'll just leave it at that.
You know, absolutely. And the series has done a lot of it, though. We've got, like, in Resident Evil 6, we've got Edonia. Resident Evil Village is set somewhere in Eastern Europe. It's a very popular destination for Capcom.
Yes, absolutely.
So we're kind of setting up the story here as being a civil war following the fall of the Iron Curtain. Council of Elders, that's old. What's this? So what's quite unique about this, actually, at the time, was it was a war. Something that is very rarely touched upon in the series, despite the fact that the whole point of what Umbrella and other companies make is to sell to war. But this was the first time we'd seen anything remotely resembling a war with BOWs and zombies and whatnot. So this was quite unique at the time. I think it kind of followed up a bit in 6, though, didn't it, Sean? Really, with Edonia was kind of in that.
Yeah, and obviously this was sold as the big tie-in movie into 6.
Yeah.
It was released shortly before Resident Evil 6 came out, so it was a nice lead-in.
Yes. It's a long build-up, isn't it?
It's a pretty long build-up.
They want you to... And what's interesting, as we've spoken with a chap called Alex, who wrote the book Itchy Tasty, and he himself has spoken to a lot of the producers at Capcom, and told us how the CGI films are very, I'm not saying their own universe, but they are. The characters are almost copyrighted. So your character, for example, has never been mentioned or appeared as a playable character or anything like that.
Yeah, a little disappointed about that.
Yeah, I can imagine. But apparently, it's not just you. So in Degeneration, the kind of first one before, there's always Leon. There's loads of characters that none of them have ever appeared since, and it's all to do with copyright. Apparently.
Apparently so, yeah, because I personally thought the JD character, they could have done more with it. They could have taken it far if they wanted to.
Yep.
Video game, absolutely. So much more you could have did with JD. But, it is what it is. There's not going to be a sequel because we know what happens at the end.
Do we know JD's real name? Were we ever told that?
His real name?
Yeah.
No, never.
No.
Nope, it's just JD. Doesn't stand for anything.
There we go. So there's Leon and Hunnigan. So this is a nice. So it can work the other way. So they can happily link in to video game characters, but seemingly from CGI to video game, not allowed to happen.
Right. What would have been great is a prequel to bringing JD up, almost like having a film based around. I mean, I'm speaking too high character right now because I would love to do another project, but that would have been great.
That would have been good.
Another film that introduced JD and maybe showed you a little bit more character development and who he was, where he came from, kind of stuff. But not too much.
Do they give you much in terms of backstory to sort of base your performance on, or is that
no
with yourself and the director and whatnot?
Not so much. Even when I auditioned for the character in Los Angeles at Bang Zoom Entertainment was the casting company. Even when I was auditioning for it, they wouldn't even tell me the name of the film. It was Undisclosed Mocap Project, it was called. And they said, we can't even tell you the name of the movie. You have to sign a NDA, non-disclosure agreement, on anything that you did at the audition. You can't talk about it. And I still didn't even know the name of the project. I didn't even know what I was auditioning for. But they told me the character, the only direction I got for the audition was your character needs to be a Slavic hip-hop loving character.
Wow.
So basically, come in and audition. That's your research.
Brilliant. Interesting. So I've noticed straight away, because I've not actually seen this for quite a while, that the improvement of the CGI since Degeneration, Sean, very notable.
I've definitely heard.
The only thing it could do with, Degeneration included, is it could do with remastering in 4K.
Yeah.
About that's the only sort of negative I can say with the image. But I mean, the animation, it was, dramatically improved, really.
And it's good to see Leon with a bit more human emotion, because he is terrible in Degeneration. He's like a plank of wood. But this, here he is. So this is quite a cool kind of... Oh dear.
Looks like someone's infected.
Scarecrow, that was it, yeah. Still with the quips, Leon. Still with the quips. Have you noticed, though, how, like, Vendetta starts off quite similar in the sense, dark, brooding, infection, before expanding quite significantly into action?
I didn't even realise the liquors got introduced this early.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are betas, aren't they?
Yeah, basically modelled around the ones in RE5, aren't they?
Yeah. Yes, they are. Yeah. Oh yes. Oh god, this brings back memories. This. It was such a busy year, 2012. It really was. We had so much Resident Evil coming out that year that one forgets. Resilient little bugger, isn't he? Look at this one. Yeah, those particle effects, those smoke particle effects are pretty good, aren't they?
The CGI is actually quite impressive. I would you on that. A huge difference from Degeneration.
Some shots in Degeneration were live action.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of them, they kind of mixed it in a little bit. Oh, that was close.
This is Ataman, isn't it?
That is Ottoman.
Yeah.
Be praised.
Fabulous mocap actor. I will plug him. Kirk Thornton.
Please do, absolutely.
Yeah, Kirk Thornton, fantastic voiceover actor, video game director, and played the mocap for this role here. I think he did a pretty amazing job.
And this sets up the mystery of the film straight away. It's like, okay, someone is controlling a liquor.
Right.
Obviously, something the Jurassic Park franchise would do. Years to come. Yeah, certainly the facial animation looks a bit better than it did in Degeneration.
Just the lighting as well.
The
lighting's so much more natural in this one.
Yeah. Oh, there's someone. There he is. There you are.
Yeah. So yeah, the as you know, the characters, the mocap character of JD, and of course all the other characters are based off our exact height, weight. I mean, our attributes are pretty much exactly. So I don't look like JD. I look nothing like him. I don't have blonde hair. I have dark hair. I mean, but attributes wise, that's the biggest part of getting cast in a mocap role is just your attributes
Right.
related to the character.
And here you are with Buddy.
Buddy, yeah. Played by Dave Earnest, another fantastic mocap and voiceover actor.
So did you record this with Matthew Mercer and David at the same time, or were you separate booths or separate times?
Separate times. They were, so when we did the voiceover, or when I did my voiceover for JD, I was the only person. They're just recording JD, and then on a different day they'll record. Maybe they'll record Matthew Mercer, or they'll record Dave Earnest on a separate day, but none of us in the same booth. No.
Okay. Did you find that easier or harder? So, because I know in a lot of these things that people like to bounce off one another.
You know, that's actually a great point, but it's much easier to just do it on your own. It's you're lip syncing. There's so much that goes into the voiceover aspect. You're watching yourself on a screen and you're matching your lips. You know what I mean? So it's way easier just to shoot everybody. I'm sorry, to record everybody individually, and then they just place it all in together. But the voiceover is actually, I want to say, this was 10 years ago, so I want to say the voiceover came maybe 6 months to 8 months after the mocap.
Oh, wow. That's a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. They wanted to definitely get it animated and edited, and then we came in the post-production and did the voice, yeah. And like I mentioned to you earlier before we were recording, I am the only actor in this film that did the mocap and voiceover for his character. Every other character that did the mocap did not do their voiceover for their character. It was different actors. It was different voice actors. So I find that to be flattering.
Yeah, absolutely.
That they believed in me to have me do the voice of JD.
So here we are. This is with Svetlana Balakova, president of the Eastern Slav Republic, trying to bring your tyranny to an end.
Right.
But they're all in it up to their necks. It's all conspiracies. But yeah, just go back to Buddy was quite an interesting point. I said something we did discuss off air was back in 2012 when we saw the first trailer for Damnation and everyone got a look at Buddy. How we lament the fact that it wasn't Art Thompson, but never mind.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been quite something.
Right here, that's I don't know the character's name right here, but Dave Earnest, I believe, also did his voice. Who did? I'm so sorry. Dave Earnest did his voice, but he was the mocap actor for Buddy.
According to the wiki, David Earnest mocap and Buddy was voiced by Dave Wittenberg.
Yeah, Dave Wittenberg voiced Buddy. Dave Earnest was the mocap actor.
Yeah.
But Dave Earnest did have a voiceover role in the film, and it was that gentleman who walked in and started talking. I don't know the name of the character.
Oh, right. Yeah. Unnamed, yeah, secretary.
Secretary, yeah.
Just a secretary. And we had a quick glimpse there of Ada Wong.
Yep.
It's a Leon movie, therefore it almost has to have Ada in it. Although I think her presence is pointless.
Right. This scene right here was the actual audition.
Ah.
Yeah. At least for me, it was. This was my audition for JD. Was this scene right here?
That's quite an accent you've put on.
Oh, believe me, I worked on it. Yeah, it was. I had to come up with something that was Slavic, but at the same time, I took the characters a little goofy, likable, lovable, admirable. I would hope, and give it a little hip hop flair. That's specifically what they wanted in the audition, was a Slavic hip hop persona.
Wow.
And again, I look nothing like JD in real life.
Massive disclaimer: I do not look like him,
except for height and maybe the weight at the time, and body movements. Of course, it's all that's that's us. That's us doing the mocap. Ada Wong was the mocap actress. I believe her name was Jolene. And was it Jolene?
Jolene Anderson, that's right, yep.
She did a fantastic job as the mocap actress for that.
And I said, there's a mention there of Degeneration. Did you see that? It said Hardverville Airport on the...
Linking the movies together.
Nice. Yeah, so Jolene Anderson played, as she did the mocap, and then went on to be Ada Wong in Resident Evil 2 Remake. So this is perhaps her audition to an extent for that.
Yeah, I guess you can say that.
In terms of the timeline and whatnot, we're in 2011.
Yep.
Svetlana is trying to masquerade as bringing together a peaceful resolution for the civil war here, but what she's actually doing is trying to use the addition of bioweapons such as the Licker and the one we'll see later as the Tyrant to pin the blame on the Resistance for bringing biological weapons to a battlefield. So this is one of the reasons why Leon's brought into the conflict, as well as Ada, and it's one of the great sort of mysteries that we still have 10 years later, is why Ada masquerades as a BSAA agent here. They've never really explored it, have they?
No.
And it's sort of one of those irritating, murky things about her character still.
Here, I find this a pretty good moment when you're getting familiar with JD's character. Is he seems a little sympathetic. You know what I mean? He's a bad guy. He's not a villain. He's got a likable personality to him, even though technically he's one of the bad guys in the movie. But is he a bad guy? Is Buddy a good guy or a bad guy? I mean, it's kind of up to your discretion. I mean, I thought they were like characters. I don't know what you guys thought.
Well, I think the whole movie's... I think it's all a shade of grey, to be honest.
It is, exactly.
You're Resistance freedom fighters / terrorists.
Exactly.
I have you down as a terrorist on our website.
That's fine. I mean, that's pretty much... Yeah, no, you are correct.
But at the same time, Svetlana's not exactly...
Okay, here's a moment in the film where you see a turn.
But not turned the way you think.
Right.
I can't remember whether they actually promoted the fact that it was the Plaga in this at first, did they?
I think in the trailer we saw the
Did we? That's interesting then, because that would have been quite a surprise when the first parasite turns up and you're going, oh god, it's not the T virus this time.
No, but I'm sure they showed the blood coming out of the eyes, which I think is more... Is that more Ganado? Because these are Ganados, aren't they? Or Majini? The complicated factor comes with this is that it's a different type of plaga to what we've seen before. This is like I think John calls it a synthetic plaga.
So here's a little bit of a moment of some character development, and little comic relief comes into play too. Well, a little drama right here, but then the comic relief comes in. But and that's, I think, what makes you like the character of JD, is that he's one of the only guys in here with the comic relief aspect, which makes you think, do I like this character? Is he a good guy? Does he have a good heart?
I'm not sure whether we should change the tag, Nick, on the website. I'm not sure how comfortable I am labeling these people as, black and white terrorists here.
I know. It's it's hard.
I mean, I think freedom fighter kind of works.
What if I put?
Because that leaves it open to what are they? Are they bad guys? Are they good guys? What are they? They're freedom fighters. Pro-independence freedom fighters.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in the same category as Jason from Infinite Darkness, if you've seen the latest CGI.
Okay.
The latest CGI one. He's the same sort of thing, but anyway.
Remind me who does the voice of Ottoman.
Yeah, it's Kirk Thornton.
Oh, Kirk Thornton did the voice?
Oh, no, not the voice, sorry, Robin Sachs.
Robin Sachs. Okay, not familiar.
Wow, gosh, seriously. He's a very prolific TV actor.
Robin Sachs?
Yeah.
Is he?
He's not with us anymore, sadly, is he? But
oh, is that right? Okay.
yeah, he's done a lot of live action stuff. A very famous reoccurring role in Buffy, I think.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh, who did you play in Buffy?
Ethan Rayne.
Oh. Look at this. You learn something every day with these audio commentaries, I tell you.
Yeah, he does play Ataman. Wow, I never knew that. So, yeah, right, and that's certainly new on me.
Little character development. You see, he's got a little bit of a heart. He's not that bad.
He's not that bad.
I never came away from this thinking JD was a bad guy at all.
Yeah, well, that's good.
The confusing thing is that in this series we've got you as JD, then there's also DJ, which another character in the which.
Okay. DJ.
Now I'm going to ask myself, try and remember myself where he's from. I think that's Vendetta, isn't it? Isn't he part of the
Oh God.
Oh, this is test. I thought he was part of the BSAA. Sorry, it's DC, not DJ. Sorry, ignore
DC.
that. DC. Sorry. Anyway, let's continue. So this is again. It's all very creepy. It's all.
The atmosphere to this is wonderful. Yeah.
This is good stuff, isn't it? It's all.
And it's helped by the fact that, like we said earlier, the lighting's rather exceptional.
Yeah. It is. I'm watching this on my 4K TV, so it's being artificially boosted on my UHD player. So it's looking pretty sharp, I have to say. Bordering on kind of Infinite Darkness quality, which is very good. Look at so yes, another thing for this is 3D moments, which we can't see because it's not in 3D.
Oh, it would look amazing in 3D. So that line right there, Mr. Chankoff, is not in the script. That was improv. It was added, I should say, at the last moment while filming. Because there was no name for that character that was killed.
Did you come up with that name? Or
I did not. It was one of the Sony executives. I think he was one of the executives, yeah. He just said, we need to add a name in there.
Come on, JD. Do something, JD. No. So they can't. It's interesting because they are Majini, but they're kind of I think they've made them look quite zombie like, but you can see that they're not. There we go.
I think we definitely say JD was the goofy sidekick.
Yes.
Which is exactly where I was taking it.
Sean, dare I say that scene was somewhat inspired by a Paul Anderson movie?
You can say what you like, because I wouldn't even know which one you're referring to.
Where it bursts out, where the Plaga kind of comes out of the face.
You're talking about the one I haven't seen.
Oh, you've not seen that? Oh, yeah, you've refused. You've refused to see it. I mean, obviously it's from RE5, but it's quite prominent in some of Anderson's live-action films, so they just randomly have people's face go blah, and out they go. Oh, but there we go. You survived, JD. You survived
Survived for now, yeah.
For now. You take comfort from the fact that the Plagas is you can't only be infected by another unless they put it in you. It's not like the T virus. I have to say, it's been a while since I've watched it. I forgot how creepy I remember this bit, if you like. I knew it was a lot of creepy tension, but I thought the action started. The kung fu started a lot earlier. So this is a pleasant surprise.
So this is an actual prop. It was just a door, and it was in the middle of a square in a studio, and that's what we're pulling on. It's just like a makeshift door, and of course they CGI'd everything because if the listeners don't know much about how this is done, it's all shot in a tiny little room. Not a tiny room, but it's shot in a room, a square. You got 100 infrared cameras surrounding you, and that's your location. So the whole movie is literally shot in one space, one studio.
You got to use your imaginations a lot. I
think you can see it in the behind the scenes DVD. If you watch, I mean, I believe they show
as an actor, you've got to kind of use your.
Oh yeah, as an actor, you got to use your imagination. Absolutely, of course. It also didn't help that the director did not speak English.
Oh yes, it was.
Amazing director. He was our director on the film. The first AD had to translate.
It's Kamiya.
Yeah,
Makoto Kamiya.
Yeah, great director. But he didn't speak English. We didn't speak Japanese. So the first AD had to direct us through the director.
How was that experience generally?
I thought it was amazing.
I
thought it was fun. I don't know if you guys ever saw a movie called Lost in Translation with Bill Murray. That was shot in Japan. It was almost the same situation. Or he plays a television actor in the same deal.
Yeah.
The director only spoke Japanese and he couldn't understand, and it all had to be translated. That's why it's called Lost in Translation. Great film, if anyone hasn't seen it. But all this stuff, this is all the same exact location. Of course, on screen it looks like we're at all these different locations. You're not. You're just in a box, and all the location is CGI'd.
I do wonder nowadays, with the advent of like stagecraft from ILM for like the Mandalorian and stuff, I wonder how that will impact CGI films, because they all use, mocap nowadays. I wonder if they'll adapt it somewhat.
I watched a little bit of the behind the scenes of the new Batman movie. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see that.
Okay.
Their animation,
Uses it, yeah.
their CGI was completely different. They shot on screens and literally just filled the screens with location for backdrop locations. It was pretty amazing. Everything just shot on green screen. I want to say, yeah, all the locations were just everything. I think everything in that Batman movie was all CGI'd.
So here we go. So this is a key moment where we've got the transferring of the Plaga.
There you go.
This is very much in line with Resident Evil 5 as opposed to 4, where in 4 they're only infected through spores or injection, whereas in 5, the Majini, by that point, with a Type 2 Plaga, were able to infect people like this en masse and become one of them, one of us. But this is a cultivated or synthetic Plaga. It was developed by Svetlana and her scientists. Apparently, splicing T-virus BOWs with Las Plagas proved incompatible as the virus eroded the parasite's intelligence, making it unable to generate the hive mind, a link needed to communicate and give orders to other subjects. However, a BOW with very sensitive hearing, such as the liquor, is different, and the parasites communicate by ultra-high frequency sound waves, which we'll see a bit later on. And we've seen, I think, in Resident Evil 4, you can see that communication, can't you, with the kind of dominant Plaga being able to control the subordinate ones. Although that could all change in the remake, we'll see. But
this is a great location. This is one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie, actually.
I think the location of the general Eastern Slav Republic is quite a good one. It's got a very different feel to some of the other places that we've visited in RE.
Here's a moment where you kind of think JD's turning into a bad guy.
Leon saying this, despite the fact that he has been himself infected with the Plagas. It's nothing. It's nothing you can do, JD.
It's a different, like you say, it's a different process, though.
He could be a bit little more sympathetic. He could be like, oh, yeah, well,
about as sympathetic as performing microsurgery with a hang-on later.
Yeah. There's Buddy.
What are you guys thinking? Because I knew the outcome. What are you guys thinking when you're watching this as viewers? You think this is it for Leon? They're going to kill him?
No.
Unfortunately, the Resident Evil series has ridiculous plot armors for the main characters.
Uh-huh.
They've had so many opportunities now to dispatch members of the main cast. Even doing, like, at times, the occasional fake out. And, yeah, I don't think it'll ever happen, really.
No, probably not.
And, of course, in this very movie, we see Leon has, spinal plot armor, as well as being made of whatever adamantium is it from X-Men. He's been thrown across the square and hit in the concrete. We'll see it later. Sean, just because do you think Buddy should have been Ark? I know he looked like him a bit, but it didn't.
I think in hindsight, in terms of like where this is set and Buddy's role in the story, it just wouldn't have worked. But I mean, he is uncannily look-alike.
He was. I just remember the discussion. I mean, it takes you back, the discussions.
Yeah.
We all knew it wasn't, but we just can't help ourselves at the time. It was like, it's going to be Ark. It's going to be Ark.
We actually had to go through a little bit of Russian military training, believe it or not,
Oh,
to for our characters in this film. Yeah, we were trained on the proper ways to hold a weapon, like how I shouldn't say Russian. I take that back. Slavic, Eastern European, different methods, believe it or not, of how you hold a weapon as opposed to how someone from the East would hold a weapon. If that makes any sense.
yeah.
So, yeah. So a lot of we had to go through a little bit of training.
Oh, you've messed with the wrong.
Mess with the wrong guy.
Oh, you've messed. It's amazing how they've changed Leon over the years.
This is actually my favorite moment in the film, at least for myself. When the monologue starts for JD,
Mm.
I remember just rehearsing all morning. I would get up earlier than everyone else and just sit in my hotel room and just rehearse and rehearse and rehearse, and because I wanted it to be perfect, even though your voice being used while you're doing the mocap, you can see it. You know what I'm saying? You can see the body language. So you need to know you need to know the dialogue very well, so it comes out good in your motion. Yeah, I rehearsed. I would always have my script on me, even when I was eating breakfast in the hotel. Always have my script, rehearsing. Train ride to the studio, rehearsing, script in hand at all times. Just I wanted to impress. You know what I mean? I think I did because I booked the voice for JD 6, 7, 8 months later after the mocap, and I remember saying to them, all these great voiceover actors that auditioned for JD, why did you pick me? And they said, you just knew the character better than everyone else. It you are JD, they said to me. And that was the greatest honor. It really was. And I think this monologue right here made a huge difference.
Mm.
I suppose when you get around to actually doing the voice part of the role later, because you've actually done the mocap, you have a greater insight into your mindset behind the performance. So I should say it was easier to match than maybe some voice actors would find.
Well, I had to, I auditioned for the character because I remember getting the phone call that, hey, Val, we want you to audition for JD, and they, like I said, they said you knew the character better than everyone else because you performed the character, and nobody did JD better in the audition than you did. And I'm honored because there was some huge credited voiceover actors that I went up against. So that was an absolute honor.
Well deserved, thanks.
Thank you. But that scene, that monologue too, it's great for the character too, because that he plays a huge part in liking JD.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because you have to have that feeling for when his death scene comes up. Hope I didn't spoil it for anybody who's watching it for the first time, but
Oh, he may as well be wearing a red shirt.
right. Yeah, I mean, you got to feel for the character, when he dies. It's like, or else you're like, whatever, who cares? He's dead. Or, because I've read people's reviews on JD and his death all over the internet. I've seen it, and then some people said they cried when JD died.
Oh, well, he must be doing something right then.
That's powerful. If that made that much of an impact on you, that you actually cried when the character of JD dies. Here's a great fight scene. Now, if you can do that in high heels, that's impressive.
Ada, why the hell are you here?
Oh god, is it Courtney Taylor who voiced her in this?
It is, yes.
Yeah. So she performed this and Resident Evil 6, which was a nice bit of continuity.
This has generated a bit of chat over the years, isn't it? Because
That
this
meeting.
Yes, this is the only time that they've confirmed that they've had a closer rendezvous post Raccoon City.
Very Batman, huh?
Very Batman. She's not needed in this, is she? She's really. I love Ada. I think she's probably one of the best characters in RE, but they do need to do something with her.
She gets cool fight scene coming up. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she does. But and Svetlana's a good character. Actually, they should have.
I believe Wendy Lee is the. I think wasn't there two Lees? I want to say Wendy Lee did the mocap, or did she do the voice? Melinda Lee did the mocap. Wendy Lee did the voice. Am I right about that? Sorry, it's been 10 years.
Yeah, motion capture, Melinda Lee, and voice actor
There you go.
Wendy. Yeah.
I never met the voice actors. Just the mocap actors. We all
Just the mocap.
Yeah, because we all worked together.
Yeah.
Did the whole feature together. We did the mocap. Never met the voice actors.
Not even at the press.
No.
Screening. No. This was Matthew Mercier's second to last one. He did 6, didn't he, for Leon?
Yes.
And that was it. Was it?
Yeah.
Did he do Vendetta? Oh,
no, sorry, yeah, he did Vendetta.
He did Vendetta as well. It's strange how the Majini are acting. They're making them want to look like zombies, and they're quite bumbling and interesting choice.
Now that bulletproof vest, I did have to wear one of those.
And
it was so that was a prop that I was wearing while filming, doing the motion capture.
But I suppose it helped. Was it quite heavy? I assume it was quite heavy.
It was quite heavy.
Yeah. So, but there'll be subtle differences in getting up off the floor would be different if you weren't wearing it compared to if you were.
You need that for the character. Yep. Oh, something's wrong.
Oh no!
Little tummy ache.
Mm-hmm.
And this did really happen. The handoff of the vest in the mocap acting.
Right.
For the audience that doesn't know, we're wearing mocap suits that have little dots, little sensors. They're like skin tight suits with dots everywhere. That's and the vest also had dots all over it because they are also animating that as well.
That's a GIF somewhere. I think you can find.
In a lot of the future games, the mocap and the voice act that they, whether Capcom have done it for that, for the kind of same reasons of you've explained. Oh no, they still mix it up, don't they? A lot of the time.
No, I don't know. In more recent games, you've had
Village has been, Resident Evil Village. They've both.
Yeah, it's been the same actor doing the mocap and the voice acting in the more sort of recent. Literally in the last few years, yeah.
It's the they get different facial actors in. That's it now. That was it. Yeah, to do the face. But yeah, mocap and voice. Oh, JD, we hardly knew ye.
All right. Yeah. The scene where you saw him screaming and he got shot down, that was the most difficult thing to do in a voiceover booth, because what looked like a couple seconds to the audience is actually 15, 20 minutes. I take that back. 15, 20 takes of scream at the top of your lungs over and over until we get the best take. I was winded.
I can imagine, yeah.
Exhausted. It took all the energy. I'll never forget that. It took all the energy out of me. It took my voice away. But it was well worth it.
Did you just... How's your RE5 knowledge, Sean?
Aye.
Is it a fellow?
What?
It's what they call where it bursts, where the plaga bursts out of you, isn't that? That's called something else. I thought it's a fellow. Hold on, let me have a look. I don't quite know. It's a fellow's the one with the long. Fine.
And that to me was more in line with the
Ganados, wasn't it? With the
RE4.
RE4, yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, after the lake bit, isn't it? As he's walking out of the lake, it bursts out. Cephalo is the RE5 version of that. Yeah, so yeah.
RE1 is just like a big, I don't know, like millipede head thing.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Sticks out of you.
I'm just trying to. It's interesting watching this back because we've got there's big moments in RE6 in a cathedral as well. Leon, Ada. There's certainly a lot of connectivity, perhaps unintentional.
What the visual?
Visually, yeah. RE6 has got a massive kind of moment in a cathedral like that. Looks quite similar.
There's some cathedrals that just give a nice setting to a movie.
They are, yeah.
So the voice of the secretary right here is Dave Ernest, who mocapped Buddy.
Yeah. So I think we're kind of treading into getting towards the end act, isn't it? Or
this is definitely what's called the third act in motion pictures. You can see a shift in mood and story in the 3-act structure of a film.
Let me go back to the B, this B company, isn't it? Here we go.
Oh, yes.
So we can conclude from the earlier parts that Buddy is now infected with the Plagas
Plaga, yep.
and is now in control and been able to use the synthetic Plaga to control the liquors through high frequency. Which is a clever thing because we see it in RE4, and obviously liquors are blind creatures, so there's a nice little kind of correlation there between that. I said Ada's role is so weird.
That's a great 3D shot.
Yes. I want to see it in 3D. That's what makes it. This is a cool fight sequence.
Yep.
Because you're not expecting it from Svetlana at all.
Right.
And what's good is that this is a little bit believable than Chris's fight in Vendetta. If you've seen that, he has a 1-to-1 pistol fight with a chap called Glenn Arias, which is just the most ridiculous thing you'll ever see in your life.
Well, you can tell this scene here was shot for 3D.
Oh yeah. It's a shame. I still lament the lack of the 3D, because 3D done well towards the end of 3D TV's life cycles was so much better, and I could spend hours talking about how and why 3D at home failed. Oh yeah, the whole room. Anyway, here we go. Back in the city square. So as I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the commentary, this is a bit of a first, really, seeing all this happening.
Broad daylight.
Broad daylight, proper BAWs in a
Yeah.
war.
That's the truck we saw earlier.
Yes. I'm trying to remember what Leon's job is. It was just to investigate, wasn't it? He kind of went off rogue though, didn't he? Because he was ordered at the beginning. He was like, get out of there, but he carried on. A lot of off-screen destruction, though, I would say.
A nice little set piece here to remind you that the liquors use hearing as opposed to sight.
Mm-hmm. RE2 reference. Nope.
Look, oh, that's that obvious. 3D shot there.
It also shows from a visual point of view, how they are deadly. And they should be deadly. And again, RE5, I mean, how many liquor beaters do you take down?
Oh, yeah.
Hundreds. Hundreds. It is so pointless. But look at the damage 2 have just done, or maybe a few more. But... Why would you say that?
Didn't even save his life.
And it's also a good reminder that in their controlled state, a kind of a liquor is very much a weapon.
Oh yeah.
It's not really designed, whereas a zombie is just a walking corpse that just wants to feed. A liquor doesn't. Well, I suppose they do at times as well. They do want to feed, but they eat. RE2, do they eat you? I think they do.
What happens here? Does she escape?
Yeah.
Clever.
Oh, that's handy. Because the liquor's a bit like the hunters. They're not designed to spread the virus per se.
Mm-hmm.
They're designed just to take out people.
They're walking weapons.
Where a hunter or a liquor will just slice you to death or whatnot. It may cause an infection, especially with the liquor, I suppose, with its tongue, if it's going to use that as a weapon, and it infects you otherwise. But it's not always designed to do that, whereas a zombie would inadvertently. Yep.
Ada Wong is like Catwoman.
She really is. I think by this game, though, we're all quite wishing to know what Ada's intentions were in the game, in the whole story.
Well, by this point in the real life timeline, we knew that she was going to have a major role in 6, and I think the news had broken by this point that she had her own campaign.
Yep.
Playable campaigns. Of course, everyone was thinking this is it. We're going to learn everything there is to know about her, and yeah.
And no, we're in exactly the same. Well, there's not been anything new on her since chronologically since RE6. In fact, Leon always seems to surround himself with people doing shady things, even his own, employers. Who's he shooting? Leon. Leon. This reminds me of the Infinite Darkness BOW room, Sean. With all the people, with all the BOW soldiers. The 3D kneecap. How wonderful.
For these specific sections, then, Val, would they have actually got like martial artists to do all the mocap? Because I can't imagine all of the motion capture actors are prolific in martial arts and things like that.
mocap actors were doing anything that would have harmed them or injured them, any kind of stunts or anything like that. They actually had doubles.
The moment earlier where JD's lifted and thrown into the cabinet, was that you, or did you get a...
That was
it excellent.
Yeah, no, that was a double.
Could you have done it if you wanted to?
10 years ago, I probably could have. 45?
Well, they've let you do it.
What's that?
If you had said, "Oh, I'm happy to do it," do you think they would have said, "Yeah"?
Absolutely, I would have done it. I mean, we took little bumps. You know, they had pads all around. You know, we did little bumps, but if it came down to any fight scenes or anything, that they definitely had martial arts doubles that came in for that.
Is the liquor dead? Don't touch it. Ah!
Might be dead now.
Surprise!
Give him CPR, see if he's dead.
See, this is So this is a bit more in line with Resident Evil 5, I suppose. Oh no! Oh, they do eat. There you go. There's Buddy.
Yeah, Buddy.
So I don't think. Do we actually see zombies? Then we should do that. He should become a zombie now. That person who just got eaten his face off. Anyway,
there are no zombies in this now.
They're not, but they could have been. They could have. Oh man, I want to see this in 3D. It's so over the top 3D. It's a bit like Afterlife. I mean, Leon is so close there to being infected, but any of that blood had gotten in his eye or in his mouth.
Yeah, could have.
No.
Don't drink.
Never have, never will. Is that what he said?
Yeah, I mean, this film took Degeneration and really raised the stakes a bit, didn't it? Degeneration is quite slow by comparison.
So this met your expectations then, Damnation.
I'm not a big fan of RE when it does too much too much action. Personally, I prefer the slower pace, but that's for the games.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting, the way Resident Evil Village has ended. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but the way Village has ended is basically Chris going, right, we're going to go take down the BSAA. Not that they're the baddies, but that's how it's ended. And there's been a chat in our kind of Discord about do we actually want to see that in Resident Evil 9? And a lot of people saying actually it may be better suited to something like this.
Yeah, I think this absolutely delivers on the action.
Yeah,
and it certainly will in a few moments.
yes. Oh, that would.
I don't think this film disappointed many, to be honest with you. From all the reviews I've read, this is a likable film for everyone. I didn't see too many bad reviews, I should say.
No, and I think it's very specific, but I think this is the only RE movie that has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's it,
right?
Yeah, it's very specific because there's not been that many reviews of it, but each one positive. So that's something. It's an accolade.
Yeah. So this is when she really shows her hand a little bit with. I think it's also a bit of a mystery as to who this tyrant was developed by, because I think in the Organisms of War, it is a joint project between Eastern Slav Republic and someone else.
The organization.
Yeah, I think that is still a mystery. Oh,
yeah,
but Matt,
so
good.
This is the best representation of a tyrant in the entire series. This is they just are the embodiment of unstoppable. Like if one of these was in front of you, it's game over. You've got no chance. Even Buddy tries his best, doesn't he?
I mean, just look at this. And this is how a tyrant should be.
It's just the sheer weight and the way they move as well. The way they're running builds up momentum and just incredible. Really well done.
And it's clever because, I mean, they've made them like huge, aren't they? They're like taller than Lady Dimitrescu or whatnot. And
I don't remember what the original statistic is, but
they're enormous.
About 3.5 meters tall or something.
Yeah.
And there's two of them, just for fun.
It's almost like remember Pinhead from Hellraiser?
Yeah.
It's almost like kind of similar to a huge Pinhead.
But it's clever though, because the effect that you're feeling now is basically the effect that you felt playing Resident Evil 2 with that tyrant. But you can't possibly replicate that with the same almost proportions, because it's a game. It's a completely different media environment, if you like. So you could be cynical and say, "Oh, they've just made the tyrant bigger," but in doing so, they've kind of replicated how you felt as a gamer, but just on in that bigger screen environment, and the sheer power of these things,
I think this is one of the reasons why I get a bit disappointed that they've tried to humanize them a little bit more. By making them wear hats and making their faces more, I want to say more human-like, as opposed to the emotionless Terminator you see here. Yeah, I think in doing that they've taken quite a lot away of what gives them their identity.
This is the last tyrant as well, chronologically.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Even with like Yushtanak, which is the kind of like successor in RE6, it's not the same, is it? No one gave a shit about Yushtanak.
Well, this is the dramatic finale, right? That makes the Question: it's the audience. What happens? Who survives? How do you kill something like this?
It's just a reminder, like, I know Nemesis uses the rocket launcher, but, by the time you get to RE6, you've got the Ushtanak and whatnot, they're using mini guns and jumping off helicopters, and it's all so ridiculous. This is just a big tyrant running at you with sheer power, and it does more in this 20 minutes than the entire of Jake's campaign. There's been some tyrants since, kind of, but not official tyrants, as in this is a particular product that's been built. So in Revelations 2, you get Neil Fisher. Neil Fisher's mutation is quite tyrant-like.
Yeah, they're like unofficial variants, aren't they?
Yeah, and Jason has I think it's been dubbed in our Discord the asparagus tyrant because he does look a bit like an asparagus. But this is the last. It's the last tyrant that was ever made so far. I mean, I think it would have been 2011. Yeah, it's still a bit of a mystery as to who it was, but I suppose all the combat data was available to whoever.
Was there any props or anything you were able to keep? Val, do you have any keepsakes or memorabilia?
The original script
Oh wow, that's neat.
is amazing. You can actually see that on my Instagram page. I've released photos of the actual pages in the script, so you have them written in Japanese on the left side of the page and then English on the right side of the page. I thought that was so cool, and it's like the script is like a little book, like a little booklet, and it's
Interesting.
my best. It's a great souvenir, and I have it preserved, so there's no fingerprints on it. No one's touched it. It's my pride and joy.
No, absolutely, fantastic.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to check that out, they can do on Val's Instagram, which is _Val_Tasso.
That is correct.
Do you think Leon is helping Buddy because he does look like his best friend Ark? Do you think?
You've got to let that go, Nick.
No, I can't.
You've really got to let it go. It's 10 years under the bridge now.
Headcanon until says otherwise. Oh yeah, she's got the scar, isn't she, on the back? Burns. Here we go. These turrets are so cool.
It's all gratuitous nonsense, but we'll go for it.
Absolutely, we'll go for it.
They just tear these liquors apart like they're paper.
So I just think this whole bit is filmed. The direction, the screen. You note it if you look at the screen, it vibrates as well, just to add to that pending threat. Oh, it's the
Like I say, they've never been represented better.
No. TO13. This is I'm going to go on a limb and say this is probably the most watched clip of any RE, either CGI or live action, perhaps, on YouTube. I think people just love this bit.
Leon's done his homework as well, because the first thing he goes to is a rocket launcher, which is it's like he's been reading up a game guide.
He has got it in first class. Now, this is a bit out like the old RE2 comics, isn't it? Where you've got BOW on BOW. Oh, this is so ridiculous, but it's great.
How long is a licker's tongue?
as long as it needs to be.
As long as the plot needs it to be, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've been playing Operation Raccoon City. Is as long as a 20-foot. Boom, boom. No weapons, no miniguns, no flamethrowers, no stupid, just power. I miss tyrants. I think we all knew, though, that just because he's done that, we all thought, oh.
But Leon knows it too, which is why he brings the rocket launcher.
Hmm. Because I think I can't remember how quiet they kept the tyrants. Power limiter removed. This is a lovely homage to RE2.
The music's great as well.
Yeah. It kind of actually looks a bit more like the Code Veronica tyrant. Catches the rocket. Oh, there we go, Leon. Look at you. Now that would kill you.
When that's happened to a licker, they've exploded in a shower of gore. But
The human spine is a remarkable thing. Yeah, it does look a bit like the old Code Veronica one, doesn't it? Kind of a mixture. Well done, buddy. This is like the Velociraptors with the Indominus Rex, isn't it?
yeah, it's good. It's a good comparison, actually.
Leon, there's no way you'll be able to stand, let alone walk after cracking into the side of a. Ooh. It's just the Americans coming.
No.
No, not yet. No.
Buddy.
Is it Buddy? All right, there we Buddy.
Yeah. Nick.
I wouldn't put it past them. Because I think the Americans and the Russians are invading at the same time. Can't remember if you see any. I think he's a very clever Tyrant, isn't he? He's very good.
You have to try harder than that. And that's how you defeat a monster tyrant.
Absolutely. Shoot it in the head. God, Leon, he's just saved your life. Oh dear.
Just when you thought it was over.
2 more. There's 3 in total, yeah. According to Batman, these are TO16 and TO8. So batch numbers 8 and 16. We had 8, 13, and 16. There you go. But there is no official Tyrant number for them. Mm. Funny old plan she had, wasn't it? It was to ridiculous to show that she was capable of destroying the resistance that she helped orchestrate put BOWs in so she could sort of strange. Typical RE nonsense, really, isn't it? But manufacturing a situation. We see it. Revelations do the same, don't they? And but what was Ada's? Oh, it's gonna It's gonna annoy me now. Point of Ada.
Like I said, I don't think it's ever been explained. There's not been even any like supplement material.
It hasn't. So if she was working, well, she claims she wasn't, but claimed for working for the BSAA to help to show that the resistance were using BOWs, something that she would just to get her on her side, I suppose.
And the thing is, her using her name in association with the BSAA makes it even more confusing that Chris doesn't recognise the name in 6.
Yeah. Who? Ada one?
Leon gives it a good go here.
He does.
We've all been there, Leon. We've run out of ammo. All you've
Get
got
the-
left's a knife.
A knife against a tyrant.
Yeah. We don't get airstrikes, though.
That was handy. Yeah, is that a power we can call upon in the next game? I don't know. That's the Americans. Here they come.
There you go. Tyrant's killed.
Mental note next time. So it's a joint American and Russian coming in, secure the Russian flag that secure the area, and then Svetlana's plan has failed. I think she's arrested. Well, it's her own fault, really. It was a stupid plan.
Yeah, an extraordinary piece of biology here. In some ways, you made it to the end with the flask.
The flask, important piece of material in the movie. Object, I should say.
I noticed in a couple of the behind-the-scenes photos, it was represented by what looks like a foam pad or something.
You know, I don't recall what it was exactly. Yeah. You said, what was it? A photo of what?
It just looks like a foam pad or something that you've got where the hip flask would be.
Yeah.
Poor old buddy.
That's it, isn't it? Even like, despite the sort of questionable nature, you still come away with sympathy for these characters.
Well, they've all been screwed over. You know, he's not that much different from Leon. Leon questions later why he wasn't told about everything, and you know, he's been having that conversation since Infinite Darkness, hasn't he?
Yeah, they definitely sowed the seeds of that here.
Obviously, RE6 shows it quite well, but then, he kind of with Benford wanting to reveal the truth, and it's a good performance by Matthew Mercier as well. It's all around. It's such an improvement on Leon from Degeneration. They made him so. The script for him, they just made him so wooden. Especially when it's got Claire in it as well. It's
also Paul Mercier.
Paul
Degeneration, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, I don't blame the voice. The voice he did a fine job. It's just the script is so. Oh, Leon.
Too bad. So the script is way better in Damnation than Degeneration.
Yeah. It gives him something to do. I mean, in Degeneration, it's Claire and Leon that the classic combo.
Mm-hmm.
They talk as if they've never spoken before.
Right.
It's obscene.
And this is Leon's descent into the bottle beginning.
Yeah. Oh, what president's that? Or is that? Looks like Harrison Ford.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that looks exactly like
Indiana Jones.
right. Indiana Jones is president.
It'll either be Graham or Benford whenever the changeover is.
Yes.
Could have been an early President Graham there. Early design, I mean, obviously. But yeah, this is the first steps of Leon being a lot more jaded and cynical.
Mm. Oh.
And the post-credit scene, that's worth pointing out, is not in the novel, as Batman points out very often. I think it's clearly obvious this is supposed to be Simmons from Resident Evil 6, but as he's pointed out quite a few times, it doesn't make a great deal of sense. And the fact that the scene is not in the novel implies that this was potentially something added very late.
Actually, Val, you might be able to see, is this in your script? Or was your script purely for you?
No, it's the full-length script from beginning to end. Yeah, no, that's in the script.
That is in the script.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. The reason why it brought up a lot of debate is because we're getting the credits now. We'll wait for you to come up. There we are.
Yeah.
The reason why I said this was, as Sean says, this was kind of discussed as being a lead into RE6, and that's fine because that is implied to be the baddie from Resident Evil 6, and you go okay, and I think. Oh, we'll get another scene.
A little bit of a cliffhanger. It's not over.
I forgot about this.
Actually, I did too. Well, there's the flask.
Oh, yes.
A nice little heartwarming.
Yeah. So,
slightly bittersweet, but, he's still with us.
He's still with us.
I'm afraid he's joining the cast of other CGI characters that can't be in any games for legal reasons.
Could they have let JD live in this? Probably not.
Probably. His fate was sealed. No, so I was saying, so in RE6 you've got this character called Simmons who works in the US government, who's the baddie, and very much supposed to... This is suggestive that it's supposed to have been him. It doesn't work at all.
Right.
Oh, look, there you go. So there's some clips of RE6 in the credits.
Yeah.
Doesn't work at all. It can't work for the storyline. It doesn't work at all. And there is an official novelization of Damnation that came out in Japan only. which I think is. I think it's interesting that you mentioned about the script because it's always been assumed that it's based on the script, and then perhaps added to, and it's not it. And that scene with Ada talking to her employer at that point wasn't in the novel, but it's interesting you say it is in the script. Interesting.
They stay pretty loyal to the script. It's very rare anything was added, or like I said, those couple little characters might have, what did I say with JD when he said his teacher or something? They added the character name at the last second. Not that
Right.
anybody actually probably would have even caught that if he didn't mention the character name. But he could have just said my teacher. He didn't have to say Mr. Chanko. They're pretty on point in the script, word for word. Yeah.
So that zipped along. That was a fairly rapid 1 hour 40 minutes.
It was. I think it's testament. I enjoyed it quite a lot. Final thoughts.
10 years on, it holds up very well.
Holds up very well.
Holds up very well for 10 years, and yeah. If the fans are still loving it 10 years later, then we did our job.
Mm. Well, as I said, I think history suggests it has a lot of fondness compared. The problem is that the Vendetta, which is the one afterwards, is. I don't want to say it's hated because that's not fair, but that's got issues. That has a lot of issues. Does Vendetta? Whereas this is a lot more. You can see the direction that they were going for, and they've kind of nailed it as to what they wanted to show, what storyline they wanted to tell. Very visually impressive in that sense. Vendetta is all over the place.
Yeah, I also appreciate how self-contained this one is as well. It tells its own little story. It's not trying, it's not tripping over itself to tie into everything and include Easter eggs everywhere. I mean, the only thing that is debatably a little bit like that is Ada, but that's fine. Her appearance in this is good enough. It's just a neat little self-contained story. The series could do probably more of sometimes.
Well, this was the phase of very much a lot of self-contained storylines, wasn't it? RE6 is quite self-contained to an extent, but I think now though, with that information that we've had from Alex about why, why these things happen. I mean, another example, Val, is that in Degeneration, the main female character in that, Angela. I mean, she may as well have been in RE6. The main female lead in RE6 is a new character called Helena Harper. Well, they look identical, and they're voiced by the same voice actress.
Okay.
But that should have been the clue. And everyone's like, "Why isn't this just Angela from Degeneration?" Right. And it's when he put it. When we were finally told, for some reason, despite this being a Capcom thing, it is for legal reasons that they can't.
Right.
So, but that means a lot of these films do feel very self-contained, even though they're quite big in terms of their story narratives. So in Vendetta, the whole of New York is taken over by zombies. It's never mentioned again. Right. Everyone's like, "Do you remember the Raccoon City incident?" Yeah. What about New York? No, it's all right. Yeah, it's madness at times, but you're right, Sean. It's a nice self-contained storyline. It doesn't create too many headaches with that sense. Whereas I think Vendetta does, because of the scale they went for with it. There we go.
Well, that was a great film, huh?
Yeah. Thank you so much for tagging along with us.
Absolutely.
And the insight and it's been fascinating.
It really has.
Sort of an insight on this kind of level, so I really appreciate the time you've taken for us today.
I hope it helped out with the fans and everyone that was listening. Hope I answered their questions on anything that they could have been wondering about. Like I said, I can talk for hours about it, and there's just so much to talk about. But I'd like to leave you with a little bit of a quote from JD.
Go for it.
My favorite line in the movie. Okay, you guys ready? What I mean is, being in America is a hell of a lot more fun than being here, right? Man, The fried chicken! The food in your country's fantastic! I could eat it every day! I hope it still sounds the same 10 years later.
Yeah, no, that was spot on. That was spot on. Thank you so much.
Sensational, sensational. What a way to end. What a way to end. But just a reminder, as Sean said earlier, feel free follow Val on Instagram. So _Val_Tasso, TASSO. You can keep track of all his developments. But I'll take this opportunity to say thank you. So thank you very much for joining. Goodbye from me, Neptune.
Bye from me, STARS TyranT.
It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.